welcome to episode 46 of our Blackburn Rovers save. So, obviously we've not really moved much since the last episode. The last episode was that disappointing 0-0 draw away at Stamford Bridge. And really, a 0-0 draw against Chelsea away from home isn't a bad result. But when you consider our last few away games in the Premier League have also been 0-0 draws, we kind of need to start winning away from home. Fortunately for us, though, it's not the end of the world. We're only really 2 points off 5th place, which is currently occupied by Leicester. Andre Villas-Boas's Leicester, which is quite an interesting one, but it's nice to really, see Leicester flying again. Yeah, we're still doing better than the likes of Chelsea, Man City, and some other teams, but yeah, who knows what might happen from now until the end of the season, because even in first place are Spurs, then second place Arsenal. They're only really 6 or 7 points above us, so if we can grab a win against Spurs, that would definitely bring them down. I think the most intriguing thing is the fact that they've got a goal difference of 19 this early on in the season, which is pretty damn awesome. I mean, they beat West Ham 5-0 by the looks of things. Gerard Deulofeu grabbing a few goals. He was actually another player we went in for in the summer. He wasn't interested. They beat Wolves 6-1, West Ham 5-0. And they're actually competing in the Champions League as well, where they are still scoring goals for fun. So if you want to play like Pochettino, go check out my Pochettino tactic video. The link is in the description. Yay! No, but seriously, Pochettino's doing a good job in this save, so fair play to him. But we're not really bothered about the Premier League for now. We beat Norwich 4-0 at home. It was quite a comfortable game, really. Norwich didn't really, to be honest, get out their own half, which you kind of expect. 4 clear-cut chances, 4 goals. Not all the clear-cut chances were the goals, but we'll take a look at them anyways. But this episode is really going to be the big episode where we're going to play our second Europa League game of the season. In a way, I kind of wish we did a double episode with Man United and the CSK Moscow game, because we were 3-0 down against CSK Moscow, and then we basically brought it back to 4-3 and won the game, which would have really made an awesome live com. But instead, we're going to live com our home game against AC Milan. Instead, I mean, you can argue AC Milan are a much bigger club than CSK Moscow anyways, but simultaneously, it's going to be a much more difficult game for us. So we'll have to see what happens. So yeah, there was the first goal. It was actually a bit of an unusual goal scorer. And talking about unusual things, we had a bit of an unusual assister this game. Dumic played the pass into James McLean, and he then made it 2-0. And Dumic has actually played well ever since I kind of dropped him from the squad. And I find that on FM, you sometimes notice that. And that's why I always talk about rotating players and dropping players that aren't playing well, because it kind of just gives them a kick up the arse, to be honest. But here we go, third goal, Piaka. He scored a header against CSK Moscow, and he scored another header there, getting caught out at the back post. Well, not really getting caught out, but catching out the Norwich defence. But yeah, as you can tell from it being, well, the first half still, we scored all 4 goals in the first half, which was really quite cool. We had some tired legs as well, because obviously when you look at our fixture congestion, it's just always going to happen. So I was really happy that we could go into the second half essentially having made 2 out of 3 substitutions to try and rest some players, because we had a lot of knackered players. And not only is our fixture congestion really poor, the international break doesn't really help either. But there we go. A nice, comfortable 4-0 win against Norwich, and that, of course, helped really boost us up the table into 7th place. So, like I said, let's forget the Premier League for now. Let's focus on AC Milan. They are currently top of our group and first in Serie A as well, which is quite nice, given their unusual finish last season, which was in 5th place, which is why we have to face them in the Europa League. But in a way, I feel like Milan are our main opposition in this group. If we can kick things off and beat them, which is going to be a very tough ask, but if we can beat them, obviously puts us closer to first place in our group. And if we finish in first place, I think we end up playing a team from the Europa League rather than a team that drops down from the Champions League. I'm not entirely sure how it works anymore, because obviously the Europa League never used to have teams drop down from the Champions League. But I think, without a shadow of a doubt, finishing first in the group is going to be easier than having to finishing second and having to potentially play a team that drops down from the Champions League, or it could be a random draw. I'm not actually sure, actually. Let's actually take a look, rather than me just going on and, let's see, do they mention it here. So the group stage, all groups, top 2 teams of each group qualify for the first knockout round. So I don't think I really mention anything. It could just be a random draw and I could be talking absolute rubbish. But generally speaking, let's take a quick look at our group. I've got no idea what group we're actually in. I think we got drawn quite a difficult group actually when you look at some of the others, like this group for example. Ajax really basically guaranteed to walk that group. But yeah, so the only reason Milan are first in our group is because of goal difference. So we obviously beat CSK Moscow 4-3. We then beat Young Boys 3-0. So this is kind of an important game. As for Milan, they beat CSK Moscow 3-0. And they beat Young Boys 3-1. Taking a look at their team, they've got quite a lot of interesting players. Tactically, they seem to change it around as well, depending on whether they're playing at home or away from home. As you can see, they've got Inaki Williams up front, sometimes plays out on the wing. They've got Florin Andone, which is, it's nice to see him play for AC Milan especially as well, because he was kind of playing for Cordoba in La Liga, and he was really impressive at the Euros, then got bought up by Deportivo La Coruña, and obviously Milan have bought him on the game. They've still got Honda, 33 years of age, but still pretty fit for his age. So yeah, a lot of really good plays here. João Pedro, another very good player on bloody 8.22 in his last 5 games, so probably assists for days for this guy. Yeah, there we go, 3 assists in Serie A and 2 assists in the Europa League. So let's stop talking about Milan and let's actually go and play Milan. As you can see, they've got players like Carlos Bacca and De Sciglio. I'm not actually sure how you pronounce it. Sciglio. But yeah, and other players like Bonaventura as well, that you should really recognise. And yeah, so it's not going to be an easy game, but we are at home, we are at Ewood. Let's see what we can do. See you there. Just one more thing. Andre Gray has somehow broken his wrist, or strained his wrist or something like that, so he now has to drop down to the bench. I'm not quite sure how these players keep managing to hurt themselves in training, particularly when training was, well, I mean, it's been set to average recently, but when you consider that Andre Gray isn't in the English squad, you know, it makes you wonder. As well, Danny Bath is, yeah, he only came back from injury a few weeks ago and he's injured again. He's sprained his ankle. He sprained it in an actual game, though, and he's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. So, yeah, injury's still looking kind of crap. Alright, guys, here we are. Welcome to Ewood Park. So, kicking things off on our good old counter mentality, let's take a quick look at formation. So we've gone with our usual 4-3-3 that served us well against Norwich. And talking about things serving as well against Norwich, James McLean starts. He got an assist, or 2 assists against Norwich, and he played earlier this season as well and did really well in that role as well and got an assist. So I've just basically decided to drop Niang and play McLean, because to be fair, if he's playing well, for me, it doesn't matter if it's James McLean. He should be playing. Nano is going to start up front. I planned on initially putting Andre Gray up front, particularly after he scored once for us in the EFL Cup, I think once for us in the Premier League, and scored against CSK Moscow as well in the comeback. But he's kind of like hurt his wrist for some reason. So Nano starts up front. And Piaka has been scoring some goals and getting a few assists as well. So he plays out on the right-hand side. As far as our midfield is concerned, Tiote has been a bit dodgy. So Romeu comes in. Again, basically everyone on this lineup is basically what guaranteed us the 4-0 win against Norwich, and I think it's only fair that, given that they're all fit, which they are, that they deserve a chance to face AC Milan, because we were very, very impressive against Norwich. As for AC Milan, Andone starts up front. He's going to be the physical man by the looks of things. Bacca playing just off him, and Inaki Williams playing just in the hole between the two, so it's going to be quite difficult. But what's quite intriguing is the fact that obviously AC Milan are playing quite narrow as well, not really playing with any wingers. Cubas is a bit of a playmaker, but quite a soft player, so he's someone we're looking to go in pretty hard on. And they're playing De Sciglio at left back, which is interesting because he's actually right-footed. So opposition instruction-wise, you can see that... What's this? You can see that we're looking to show Disciglia onto his weaker foot, and we're going in hard on Andre Cubas. Now, if you think back a few seasons, I used to do a lot more opposition instructions because it used to suit the 4-4-2 a lot more, whilst now we're a much better side. I feel like doing too many opposition instructions kind of disrupts how we want to play. But the point is, again, as usual, we're going to tweak things as we go along. And, you know, if we go 1-0 down or something along them lines, or it seems like we're not really creating any chances, don't be surprised to really see us start playing a little bit more wider. Try and get Piaka with his 15 acceleration, 14 pace, really start running on the outside of Disciglio because he's right-footed on the left, so that will definitely cause him problems. Some people have private messaged me and asked me whether or not I think that team talks during the game actually work, and I think someone asked me on FM base as well. To be honest, I've got no idea whether or not they work. I just like the idea of me yelling at my players, you know what I mean? Like, off the touchline, I'd like to think it works. That's a really good ball, that. Oh my god, it's a sitter. And he's missed it. That's kind of like, it reminds me of the sitter that Niang missed, you know, against Chelsea. Ugh. You look at the stats, we had 6 shots, 3 on target, most of the possession as well, so really solid start from us. But, you know, it's still kind of worrying. Really good tackle there from Malenia. And you can see that because that fullback that was running down the right-hand side was basically the only wide player there for Milan, there's actually a lot of space for us to try and exploit, which is why this counter mentality is working so well. Rog, once again, a second sitter, guys, and he's missed. I mean, I thought I improved my coaching staff in the summer. It doesn't seem like, you know, the technical coaching and improved attacking coaching has really done much, and now Milan have a corner which they're probably going to score from. Maybe not, but you know, Italian sides, you know, really good with their set pieces. They've got big, strong, fast defenders as well. But here we go. Fabio grabbed the goal against Norwich. He's going to find the Spaniard, little Spaniard, in Nano, who plays it out wide to Augustinsson. It's a bit of a poor ball, that. Bit of a poor ball. Now Milan might try to counter-attack, but Fabio picks it up. Good ball to Piaka, who misplaces his pass as well. Can we get the tackle? Come on, boys. We need to be doing better than this. Just calmly tell the lads I'm not happy with the performance, but, you know, match stats-wise, it's been all Blackburn Rovers, and it's going to be a real shame if we can't actually manage to win this game. What I am going to do is change our width to be more balanced and play at a slightly higher tempo, but we're not going to look to pass into space, simply because they do have quite a fast back four. We'll keep it on fairly narrow, and I'm going to move Piaka out here, and he's going to be a winger. And we're going to tell him specifically, right, he's trying to cross from the byline. We'll tell him to close down more, mark tighter, and tackle harder as well. I really want him to take on their left back out wide, you know what I mean? So, yeah, is Marco Rog right-footed? Yeah, so he should be able to start threading balls through there. It does look like Milan are making some changes. Cubas is heading off the pitch, which isn't really a surprise, and Dendon Decker replaces him. Honda's also been taken off. Let's see if we can do anything from this set piece. Callas. Oh, what a goal. What a goal. I can't remember the last time we actually scored from a set piece. But Thomas Callas, he had a sulk towards the end of last season. He came to me in the summer, said he wanted to leave because he wants Champions League football. But Thomas Callas, mate, if you keep scoring against teams like AC Milan like that, we're going to be playing Champions League football next season, I'm sure of it. So, Jesus Christ, how did so many AC Milan players get towards our back four there? I don't know. Dumic hoofs it forward, and there we can see really good stuff. Piaka's going to take on that left back. He's going to whip the ball in, and Nano is going to make it 2-0. The changes that we made have rattled AC Milan. And talking about changes, we've scored 2 in the space of 2 minutes, and we need to make some changes of our own now to basically make sure their heads stay in this game. AC Milan are going to change it around. They're not going to go 2-0 down and just be like, right, we can play him at the San Siro. That isn't how it works.
A few moments later.
You can see now that our wingers are, oh, for God's sake, Piaka. Backer's going to pick that up. He's going to whip the ball in, and Inaki Williams is going to score. So Piaka, that was kind of like our hero in getting that second goal, has got tackled by Bonaventura, a good player. I know I mentioned him before the game, but right, this completely changes the game now. We're going to go to a defensive mentality for the time being and look to waste time. We're going to close down a little bit more and be more disciplined. What have they done to change it around? So Baka's going to pick that up wide. Inaki Williams with the header. Dendon Docker's going to play that wide to João Pedro. He's pushing forward. Oh my God. What a finish there from Dumic. Jesus Christ. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would have taken 2-2.
A few moments later.
I don't personally think that specifically the changes that we made, started putting more men behind that ball, was really the cause of anything too drastic. And they're going to win. They've scored the winner. We've lost to AC Milan. Really good pass there from Carlos Baka. And Williams, yeah, gets the winner. And that's going to be the end of the game. So, yeah. I'm not really convinced that anything I did specifically was really the cause of this collapse. But then again, we were playing much better before I made my changes. The main changes we made was we moved Gillas up front on his own and just basically brought back Piako, who's already playing out wide there, and McLean from there to there. We didn't actually make, significant changes. We've just genuinely gone to sleep after going 2-0 up. I can't believe what I've just seen. We scored 2 goals in 2 minutes, and then they scored 2 goals in 3 minutes, and Inaki Williams got the winner. I'm gobsmacked. I can't believe that's just happened. But it has happened. They had 3 goals and 3 shots on target. And the Dumic own goal, I can't really explain. But we've shown we can score goals against AC Milan. And we've got them in about a week's time. So we're going to try and get revenge. But until next time, you're going to leave me feeling incredibly baffled. See you next time, I guess.